Hello, Science Lions. Hello, I am Lara. This is Theatre of Science. I am trained to teach science to A level. I've got a first class science degree, so I stream free lessons with optional printouts designed to fuse your neurons and help you understand the world. This isn't that though, is it? This is the Lego Storytime Show. I've been doing this for 5 years. I started it in lockdown. You won't let me stop. I wear a foolish costume and I chat about a thing and we do a story with Lego at the end. And the thing I want to talk about this week is Trilobites, because we're doing the oceans in our all ages lessons at the moment, which are streamed live and free, you should come. But we started looking at prehistoric sea creatures. And I started reading about trilobites and they were so interesting I thought, I have to stop. We have to do a whole separate show about these. So trilobites, they are ancient creatures that lived in the sea. They lived in the sea in the Cambrian, I think I've spelt that wrong a few places on the slide, so forgive me in advance. The Cambrian period is about 550 million years ago. You can't possibly get into your head how old trilobites are. I did this little thing to try and help us. I did this when we did the prehistoric creatures lesson. If you get a piece of paper, don't do it now. We've got another activity involving water and a tablespoon. You get a piece of A4 paper and you fold it up again and again and again and you make it's got 8 squares, and then you say that the far end of the paper is 0 years ago, so that's today, right? You could say that each crease is 50 million years. Then all of the stuff that we think of as being history, like the Romans and the Vikings and the Mayan people and, I don't know, Titanic sinking and the ancient Greeks and the Egyptians, they're all like hardly any particles after the 0 line. By the time you get to the middle of the second square, the dinosaurs are already extinct. So just the time... I started the lesson thinking, I was planning, I was like, okay, the first thing I'll do is I'll look at the time that trilobites were alive. What was Earth like when the trilobites were alive? And then I looked at this and I was like, wait, that middle of the second square there is when dinosaurs go extinct. And mammals that we evolved from are just like tiny little rat-like creatures scuttling around in the dark on the ground. You have to go right back to 250 million years ago before trilobites become extinct. That's when they became extinct. And then you've got to go back another 300, you go back to 300 million years, 350, 400, and then you've got to turn over and go 400 all the way to there before you get when trilobites pop up. So looking up what was Earth like when the trilobites were around, look how long they were around for. They were around for like 250 million years. It's like saying, oh, what was Earth like between now and like when the dinosaurs start up here? It doesn't make any sense. So what I did was I went back to the Cambrian period because I didn't really know anything about what life was like then. I don't know anything about life on planet Earth 550 million years ago. So I thought, let's just go back to the beginning and get some things straight in our heads, okay? So I found out some really interesting stuff. You might have heard of Pangea. You might know that all the different countries and continents on planet Earth moved around a lot, and at one point they were what we call a supercontinent of Pangea. But that actually happened loads of different times. So there was another supercontinent, and about 550 million years ago, this continent has just started to break up. Okay, so you've got this cool map here of where they reckon all the different places were at this time. Here's another one. So there'd just been an ice age, okay? And loads of animals have gone extinct because there'd been an ice age. So the planet had sort of suddenly got really cold and a lot of animals couldn't cope with it. And then the ice melted and loads of land gets flooded, and that makes loads of shallow seas. So this is about 550 million years ago. We call it the beginning of the Cambrian period. So we've got no ice on the planet and loads of warm, shallow ocean, loads of new habitat for life to thrive in. Apparently, it's quite unusual. The planet was it was more the same temperature overall than it has been before. We didn't have these extremes that we have today. By the way, there's not really anything happening on land yet. Plants haven't even evolved. The only things using the sun's energy to make sugar are these little bacteria type things. And there's also lots of bacteria in the ocean that are using up a lot of oxygen. So we think maybe that those bacteria start to get less. Science doesn't really know, but there's maybe there's more oxygen in the ocean at this point. So we've got these kind of warm, shallow seas. Maybe this is what starts a Cambrian explosion. Life just kind of suddenly just really seems to take off. All these different groups of animals suddenly start, I mean, I say suddenly, like it took a few million years, but quite quickly you get loads of different creatures on planet Earth. And maybe it was these warm, shallow seas and the fact they had oxygen in them. Anyway, I thought I'll have a look at what other things were alive when trilobites were alive in the oceans. So you know how today we've got coral reefs. Humans love coral reefs. So coral, famously an animal that it all gets together and lives together. We've done a whole lesson, loads of lessons on coral reefs if you look on my website. But anyway, coral build these really beautiful, colourful reefs that allows a lot of other creatures to live around this area. 550 million years ago, we don't have coral reefs. Archaeophytes. Maybe like this. I think the colours are made up, but how lovely is this? Sponge-like animals, archaeophytes. Yeah, so you've got to imagine something maybe a little bit like a coral reef in the sea, but it's made out of different things which we don't have now. So, in certain parts of the world, all over the world, there are certain places where fossils from the Cambrian period have been preserved. Guys, like 500 million years ago. So apparently Utah in America is really good for Cambrian fossils, because although Utah in America is there now inland, it used to be about 500 million years ago. It used to be here where these warm, shallow seas are. So you've got lots of like fine sediment, like really, really small bits of sand building up, quite a lot of landslides, preserving what was there. And what we found preserved there is loads of trilobites. Okay, so we've talked quite a lot in the oceans lessons about how scientists put different living things into different categories, okay? So there's like 22,000 at least different species of trilobite. There's absolutely loads of them. Usually this show, if I'm chatting about a type of trilobite, I'm talking about a genus, not an exact species. So to give you an idea, you've got animals that get put into different categories. Some of them have got kind of backbones. Some of those animals have got, for example, fur and give milk to their babies. So you call those mammals. So they say they're in a class. There's different orders of mammals, like the ones that sort of eat meat are called carnivora. This is all very basic. But anyway, generally speaking, like there's a genus in the cat family where all the cats that can roar. So like lions can roar, tigers can roar, panthers can roar. So they're all in the genus Panthera. And then lions are just the ones in that genus that have got a mane. So there's loads of different trilobites that have been found in Utah, and they're all from different genuses, okay? We've got these little guys, these, I'm not going to bother to say the name, not going to remember it, are we? But they're about 1 centimetre big. They're teeny weeny. They don't have any eyes, and they're about 500 million years old. Picture it. You can't even picture that amount of time. These trilobites, we reckon, yeah, they didn't have eyes. There's quite a lot of people arguing on the internet about whether they are trilobites or not. They look like a little bit trilobite-y. But anyway, you get those things. You also get this thing, very famous trilobite, the, don't make me say it, Elrathia, what's that, Kingi? Anyway, you get absolutely loads of this thing. It's the most common trilobite in America. By the way, I didn't say, because we said in our oceans lesson, they're called trilobites because they've got 3 different segments to their bodies, yeah. Well, I mean, they've got heads in the middle and a tail, but they've also got this sort of main bit here with a bit on either side. So tri means 3, triangle. Tricycle has 3 wheels, trilobites, 3 bits, like that. So I've looked at that, and I tried to look up another picture to show you, and I found this. Most common trilobite in America. How big do you reckon it is? Which one of those trilobites is it? It's just that little one down there. It's very small compared to some of the bigger ones. The big ones are probably from Morocco in North Africa, so we will talk about that in a bit. Yeah, so this was actually quite a small trilobite. The biggest one was about 5 centimetres, lived on the seafloor, just eating little particles that fell from above, sort of scavenging. Now we'll do the activity after this, but you've got to be careful with fossils, right? This thing could survive, apparently, where there wasn't very much oxygen. So when it died, it was less likely to be eaten by bacteria because there wasn't very much oxygen there. So when I say it's the most common fossil in North America, that doesn't necessarily mean it was the most common trilobite, but it's most likely to be fossilized. All right. Okay, should we start a little bit on our activity? Should we talk about trilobite eyes? I had no idea how much we knew about trilobites. We know so much about trilobites. So many incredible bits of them have been preserved. Like, we've got a trilobite here, I'll show you. This is the trilobite that I came dressed as today. We found a trilobite fossil. They've got compound eyes. So they've got the eyes that kind of bees have and insects have. If you've ever seen a picture of like an insect view where there's lots of different little pictures sort of all in a circle, that's trying to show you a compound eye. So this trilobite here from the Czech Republic, they've done a lot of work on this kind of trilobite. Can you see how it's got one big bulging eye? I had no idea. I thought, oh, it's not actually going to be the eye. It's just going to be something that looks like the eye. No, that's the eye. And on this particular fossil, one side of it has been scraped off, like damaged. But it turns out that's actually quite good because it means that they can see underneath. So here's another, look, those are the actual eyes, the massive compound eyes. So I thought, let's talk about eyes a little bit. One of the things that your eye can do, that trilobite eyes can also do, is called refraction. Refraction is basically where light bends. So if you've just got a glass of water and a tablespoon, I mean, it's not very interesting. Like, you know that this happens, but it's so cool. Put the tablespoon right in the middle of the glass of water and say what you see. I mean, it gets bigger, doesn't it? Shush, we're not talking about that today. We're not talking about the fact that it gets bigger. If you move it to the side, if you haven't got a glass of water and a spoon, you can watch mine. If you move to the side, what do you see? What happens? Oh, it gets like chopped in half. Now, it's not the most exciting science activity we've ever done on Theatre of Science, but it's pretty cool, isn't it? Why does that happen? It really looks like, you could turn it to the side, if you like, make it thinner, you get, whoa, you actually get a better effect, don't you? It really looks like it's just been completely chopped in half. What's going on? So what has happened there is, basically, I have to decide how much of this I tell you. We've done this a lot. This is called refraction. We've done it in our IGCSE physics lessons. If you're really interested, you can go watch my lesson on refraction. Very quickly, light travels quite fast through air. And when it hits water or that, it slows down. So a little bit like this, right? You imagine a car. You don't have to imagine. I'm going to show you. Imagine a car travelling along a gross, wet road. Never mind. Imagine a car travelling along a very smooth road, right? Very easy for the car to travel. Imagine that it hits some grass at an angle. So one of its wheels has now hit grass and the other wheel is still going along the smooth road. What's going to happen, right? This wheel is going to slow down. But if that wheel slows down and that wheel doesn't slow down, what does the car do? It bends, okay? You see that? One side of it is slowing down, the other side isn't, so it's going to spin like that. That's what's happening with your glass of water. It's sort of like, I'll try to show it to you like this. So the spoon that's in the air, well, yeah, what's happening is it's like an optical illusion. If your spoon is there, then the light is travelling through the glass, and then when it gets into the air, one sort of side of it, if you like, is speeding up, so it bends. So your brain sees light coming from this direction and it goes, oh, okay, I know that light travels in straight lines, so the image of the spoon must be there. We've done a lot of refraction in other lessons. So like I say, if you want to watch my IGCSE lesson on refraction, you can learn more about how that works. Let's do one more cool refraction activity. Well, nah, do you know what? No, let's hold off. Let's eke out the activities. I found this thing to try and show you what bees see and what trilobites would have seen. It turns out it's not actually a very good model for an eye. So that's kind of, it's certainly, that's what you normally kind of get shown, isn't it? For, oh, guys, picture how an insect sees. It's something like that. It's not really like that. But yeah. You've got a lens in your eye, and a lot of trilobites had lenses in their eyes. And what it does is, it does exactly what the glass of water is doing. It bends the light. So, these pens are terrible. Oh, sorry. You've got a tiny little kind of screen at the back of your eye called the retina. that you need the light to get to. So if you've got a massive tree in front of you, then what your eye has to do is light travels from the tree, and when it gets to your eye, it bends it. Your lens slows the light down, so it bends and then goes to your retina, and that's how you see a tree, very, very basically. Compound eyes, there's different kinds of compound eyes, and trilobites had different kinds, but they're essentially like loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of that, all sort of stuck together. Like this. This is a diagram of a compound eye. There you go. So you've got loads of lenses and loads of sort of teeny tiny little screens and loads of cells. We've actually found fossilized trilobites. Guys, the youngest, newest trilobite fossil you can get is 250 million years old. And we found the cells, not just the lenses, which were made of calcite or crystal, so they apparently, they do fossilise quite well. But even the little cells we found. So we know a lot about how trilobite eyes worked. So I had to look up, why is it good to have compound eyes? Like, I do not understand why an animal would evolve to have these eyes. And it turns out they are, I'm just looking for the amazing trilobite eye. Oh, here we go. This thing here. It turns out it's good for being able to see really far behind you. So obviously humans, if you're staring straight ahead now, you can't really see very much to the sides, can you? Whereas with compound eyes, they can almost see all the way behind them. And it's also really good for detecting movement, like really quickly detecting movement. So if you've ever tried to swat a fly, I'm sure you haven't, because we love all creatures here at Theatre Science. But if you've ever tried to swat a fly, you find it's almost impossible. And that's because the fly's got compound eyes, so it can just see you coming and detect movement a lot better than you can. But yeah, this is an actual fossilised trilobite eye. Look at this. Look at that. Isn't that just? They're so old. I had no idea that we knew this much about them. There's just incredible websites with loads of really beautiful different drawings. Anyway, let's go back, shall we, to the Cambrian seas. Just wondering, I'll give you a little bit more information and then we'll do the other refraction activity because it's cool, okay? But I need to spread out the talking because I really did find out a lot of stuff and I put a lot of it into this PowerPoint. I got really overexcited. Okay, so I was looking up a picture of the most common trilobite in America, most common fossil, and I found that picture where there were some other really big ones at the top. So I thought, well, I'd better investigate that. So I did. So I'll tell you what I found out. I found this photo, so let's have a look at these seemingly very big ones here. So the internet says that these trilobites are from the group Phacopida. There were loads of different kinds of trilobites in this Phacopida group. We've only found them from after the Cambrian period, but we assume they were in the Cambrian period as well. So it turns out, sticking with the eyes, Phacopida means lens face because they had really sort of big, thick lenses in their eyes. I've put lens face, bit harsh, isn't it? The internet says, you know, if you're ever looking at trilobite fossils in the shop and you want to identify them, apparently Phacopida trilobites have got really big, sort of, it looks dead evil, this one, doesn't it? They've got really big glabella. Do you know what your glabella is? You actually have a glabella. I don't think I've ever heard this word before in my entire life. Your glabella is on your face. It's this bit. This is your glabella. The glabella is your bit above your nose, between your eyes, like between your eyebrows. I don't know. I've never thought about that bit of my face at all. But yeah, it's called I don't know why I have to say it in Italian accent. Glabella. So there you go. Maybe you learned a new thing about yourself today. Does this trilobite have a big glabella? I don't know. I got another picture of one and tried to compare it with a non-Phacopida. So this is the Phacopida. I mean, I suppose so, yeah. Compared to a different one, I've put, I guess, yeah. I mean, I suppose you've not got that much to go on, have you? So, sure, Phacopida. Big gap between the eyes, big glabella. Oh, while I'm here, apparently how you tell a fake trilobite fossil is if you look really carefully to see if there's any little bubbles in it, then that is a sign that it's not a real fossil, it's just been made in a mould. So next time you're in a shop, have a look at if you can see some really teeny tiny little bubbles. Right, let's move on. Oh yeah. So I got quite into the Facops trilobites. Some of them were very rounded and they had massive eyes and they were really good at curling themselves into a ball. A lot of trilobites could do that, kind of like the wood lice of the Cambrian seas. There you go. There's one that has actually curled itself up into a ball, and there's the eyes. It's amazing. Okay, should we do the second refraction activity since we've talked more about lenses and eyes? So what you need to do for this one is you need to get a coin. No, it'd probably be better if I didn't hold you, actually, if I propped you up. So you get a coin and you have to put it right at the edge of a bowl. And then you have to move backwards until you can just not see the bowl. I'm moving this box around to try and get you at exactly the right angle. You've got to move back so that you can just not see the coin, but only just not see it. So, I could just hold you. I'll try propping you up on this pen. Can you just not see it? You've got to be able to really just not see it, or it won't work. I'll tell you what. Sorry, just stay there. Just take this pen lid off. I think that'll do it. Oops. Shush now. I'll tell you what, I'll just move the... There we go. Okay, so my hands are... I'm not holding the phone, so you know that I'm not cheating. Okay, you can just do it with your eyes, obviously. Just move to a place where you can only just not see the coin, and then you just pour a load of water. Luckily, we've just done an oceans lesson and I've got loads of water in this bottle, so I'm just going to pour it in. You ready? So definitely not touching the camera, not moving the camera. Pour the water in. Oh, can you see what's happening? The coin is coming into view, right? That's not because the coin is moving. The coin's not getting washed by the water. That's just refraction happening. So the light couldn't get to your eyes from the coin because it had to travel through the wall of the bowl, and it couldn't. But now the light's travelling through the water, and then when it gets to the air, it's bending, it's changing direction. It's cool, eh? I've really overfilled that, haven't I? I have no idea how I'm going to get that water out of that bowl. But anyway, it's a good trick. It works like this, we learned in GCSE physics. So like I say, I won't bang on about it too much, but basically that's the real coin, that's your eye, that's the image of the coin. So the light is doing what the continuous line is doing. It's doing that, and then it's bending. But your eye is seeing light coming from that direction and going, ah, there must be a coin over there. And it's sort of making up the image. It's good, isn't it? Right, let's move on. So I nearly finished the end of my trilobite research, actually. It's like, okay, cool. Rolling up, like wood lice. Their bodies had loads of different segments so that they could roll. Yeah, we've done all about their eyes, like we've sort of looked at what was around at the time when they were around. And then I was like, oh, I'll finish the lesson by just talking about how they went extinct. So, where are we? Here we go. So yeah, they lived for a phenomenal amount of time. They lived for far longer than like the dinosaurs lived, and obviously dinosaurs, that's a huge amount of different kinds of animals that I'm talking about. This is just trilobites. I mean, humans have been around for what, 300,000 years? Like maybe sort of a couple of million if you count sort of other species of human. 250 million years, but eventually they did go extinct. Spoiler. If we come over to this front side of the paper, 372 million years ago, there's this thing called I want to call it the Kelvasser event. It looks German, doesn't it? It seems to only affect sea creatures. It's a mass extinction. About 40% of life in the sea goes extinct 372 million years ago. Maybe, we're not sure what happened. Maybe there was less oxygen in the oceans so that they couldn't breathe. The lens faces survive, guys, and one of the order of Trilobite. So there's hardly any Trilobites left, but there are a few different orders. Phew! So that's the Kelvasser event. And then 13 million years later, which is obviously really not very much on our grand scale of things, there's another extinction event and the remaining Trilobites go extinct. Here's a Trilobite saying, oh, come on, like, what are the odds? So yeah, no more Trilobites. And that was pretty much going to be the point at which we went over to the Lego story and I told you the Lego story, except, oh, here's that guy again. Then I found this picture and I was like, what? Sorry, what? That's what? I thought trilobites looked like that. I thought they were flat with the little segments and curl up. No, sometimes they look like that. This is just an incredible skill that some people have to be able to prepare fossils in this amazing way. So quite a lot of these trilobites had spines. There were loads of different kinds. A lot of them had spines. I thought you'd want to know about the biggest. So the Isotellus was the biggest trilobite. Wikipedia tells me, thanks Wikipedia, it was carnivorous and a burrower. It lived in these warm, shallow seas. It fed on worms. So it's not like the other trilobite we saw that just fed on little bits of particle that fell. From a size, make them one of the most sought after trilobites. And here's a picture. This thing was about 70 centimetres long, we reckon. Look at those big compound eyes again. And yeah, and then the last thing I will say before we go to the Lego show is, what on earth is this? Another picture that I found just as I was wrapping up my trilobite research. Guys, it has a trident. That is a real thing. We don't know why it has a massive trident. Again, Wikipedia is summing it up very well, I think. The function, like the job that the trident did, is poorly understood. With the amount of energy and nutrients expended in growing such a large adornment, so it takes loads of energy to grow this massive trident off the front of your face. It must have been important, or why would you bother to do that? Some people think that it was for sensing things like a cat's whiskers do. Disguise? What is it trying to disguise itself as? I don't know, like the Little Mermaid's dad, or protection. Most people think that it worked as a horn in the same way that rhinoceros beetles' horns work. So I had to look up, how do rhinoceros beetles' horns work? And it turns out they use them for fighting and for digging. An actual trilobite, actual fossil trilobite with a massive real trident coming off its face. And look at those compound eyes. Even the compound eyes have got spikes. I had no idea. No idea that you could get trilobites that were that intricate. In fact, I'm going to be a bit naughty. Just before I do the Lego show, I'm going to show you a blog that I found where this chap prepares fossils. And he's talking about how difficult it is to prepare trilobite fossils, partly because it takes hours and hours and hours and hours, and partly because obviously if you want to do it really well, it's going to take hours and hours and hours, but then like you've put hours in, so you have to charge loads of money for the trilobite, and then you don't know if anyone's going to want to buy it for that amount of money. So some people don't do as good a job, but then that's kind of sad, right, to not do as good a job. So I really felt his pain. I'm trying to find you the website. Come on, I've got so many tabs open. Here we go. Yeah, this is it. It's an Italian website called, come on, oh yeah, Trilobite. Here we go. I just thought it was because we're not really talking about the fossils, we're talking about the real creatures. Here we are, this guy, incredible. Trilobite, because he's, I think he's an Italian guy. And this is him talking about the difference between ones that are really well prepared. I mean, isn't that incredible? And ones that aren't well prepared. Apparently, as you'd imagine, I guess, the spiky ones are really difficult to prepare. You've basically got to decide whether you're going to really carefully work around all of the spikes or whether you're just going to snap them off and then stick them back on at the end. So he reckons this is about 12 hours of work to get that done. So, and obviously it's skilled work, isn't it? So I don't know actually how much these trilobites are to buy. Isn't that just incredible? There you go. Thank you so much, Trilobite. We should all definitely go and read your blog. It's amazing. It's ridiculously amazing. I mean, the thing looks like it's alive. Right, anyway. Phew. So that is actually the end of the stuff that I need to tell. Well, do you like how I only had one tea strainer, but that means that I am like the fossil that only had one eye. I'm just going to take all this stuff off because otherwise I'll knock the Lego off. Whoa, that's better. Okay. I'll just go back to my slides because I've got a picture to show you during the show. There we go. Put that there. Shove that out. You can, oh no, I'm giving away how messy my office is with the sound effects. Right, you can go over there. you come here with me. There we go. Lego story time. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I think that's right. Fossils! They're pretty mind-blowing today, aren't they? The idea that you're looking at something that existed 500 million years ago. So it's hard to imagine how people must have felt about fossils before we even understood what they were. In 1642, the dominant thinking in England was Christian. So Dr. John Lightfoot, who was Chancellor of the University of Cambridge, when he came to try and calculate how old Earth was, he used the Bible as well as other classical history, and he calculated sort of how many generations of people there had been and worked out that the beginning of the world was 9 a.m. on October the 12th, 3,928 years after Jesus was born. Happy birthday, Earth. And then 8 years later, James Ussher came over the sea from Ireland, famous bishop, and said, no, that's absolute nonsense. That's not right. The universe and everything in it actually began at noon on October the 23rd, 4,004 years before Jesus was born. So, I mean, neither of those now we know to be correct. So if, according to experts, Earth was about 6,000 years old and made by God, and humans appeared on Earth pretty much straight away after it was created, then what did people think that fossils were doing? Like, how did they explain these strange stone shapes lying around on the beaches? Well, there are a lot of fossils, and so there are a lot of answers to that question. Near where I am, in the seaside town of Whitby, there is a beautiful abbey on a hill, and there is a story that in the 1600s, the person who founded the abbey, St. Hilda, here she is, before she started building, had to get rid of all the snakes. Snakes, famously very unpopular with Christians in these times. It was very unlucky to build on snakes, so she had to get rid of them. And apparently, if the amazing special effects, oh, gasp! She turned the snakes to stone. And then she just punted them, apparently, off the top of the cliff. And this is why, if you go to Whitby today, you will find tiny stone snakes all over Whitby. This is one of my favourite finds, teeny weeny little ammonite. Of course, today we call them ammonites, and we know that they are fossilised sea creatures that lived millions of years ago. The Hilda story didn't explain why none of these snake stones had heads, though, which might be why another story popped up for good measure. Apparently, St. Cuthbert cast a spell beheading all of the snakes. I feel like the science is actually very disappointing compared to these stories. The people of Wales, try not to do the accent. The people of Carmarthen in Wales have similarly gorgeous stories to explain their trilobite fossils. So there's a lot of trilobites in Wales, and they kept finding broken off bits of trilobite tail. Can you think what creature they thought that these looked like? Maybe if I turn it upside down? That's a good one. Some sort of small creature that you might find in your garden. The people of Carmarthen thought that the fossilised trilobite tails they found looked a bit like butterflies. And the story went round that Merlin the magician, a famous character who was actually kind of built from Welsh legends, the story goes that he loved a beautiful spirit. A lot of Merlin stories seem to involve him falling in love with women who then get scared that he's going to use their epic powers on him. So this one waited until Merlin was in a cave and then cast a spell on him to trap him there forever. But oh no, there were some butterflies in the cave, there must have been, and they got stuck in the stone forever, and that's where those fossils came from, apparently. It was actually a Welsh person who first mentioned trilobites in scientific writing. I did look up how to say his name. Edward Chwyd. Edward Chwyd was a volunteer at the museum in Oxford, and he travelled around with an illustrator in the late 1600s gathering information for a science book, and his letters got published in a scientific journal later that year, and he mentioned that he'd found the skeleton of a flatfish in Wales, and the drawings are so good that we can now easily see that what he thought was a flatfish skeleton was actually a very common Welsh trilobite. Of course, Gwyn didn't discover trilobites. Over in Utah, where they're everywhere, the Ute people had known about them for thousands of years before Europeans come along. They drew pictures of them on walls, and they used to wear trilobite necklaces, which apparently they thought protected them against disease and bullets. And if you think that that sounds silly, don't be too quick to judge humans of the past. They were doing their best with the information that they had at the time. They might think it's weird that we get all our food from supermarkets, for example, when there is free food available in the plants all around us. They might think it's a bit weird that we're filling the oceans with plastic. There's great power in stories and imagination, which of course all good scientists know. Scientists are very creative people who love a good story, which is why one of the most common trilobites in Whitby is called Hildoceras bifrons, in honour of the Hilda legend. And if you ever go trilobite fossil hunting in Wales, you might be lucky enough to find one of their most common fossils. Its scientific name is Merlinia. The end. Woof! Right, you lot. Thank you so much for coming to my Lego story show about trilobites. I had a really good time. I didn't know anything about trilobites at all, except that they were little fossils from ye olden times, sort of in the same way that ammonites were, but it turns out they're much older than ammonites. It's much more exciting to find a trilobite fossil. So yeah, get to Wales. Who knew? Carmarthen apparently is the place. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. That is the end of my show. I need my computer because if you're watching live, you'll have noticed there's no comments on YouTube videos, but I always put a post up on my Facebook page to say, if you're watching live and you want to comment on my Facebook post that's just at the top of my Facebook page, then I will go over and say hello at the end. So if you're watching this right now and you've got a Facebook account, you can go over and I'll read out the comments now. It doesn't matter if you haven't got a Facebook account. That's probably the right answer, to be honest. Don't worry about it. But I'll go over and say hello to the people that are here. If you happen to be new and you're thinking, this is weird, like what is her job? Guys, this is actually my job. It's ridiculously amazing. What happened was I started streaming free science lessons in lockdown, just sort of, for the glory. And then just home educators just didn't want me to stop. So I just kept going. And it's 5 years later. And it's amazing. It's such a wild business model that we never would have come up with, never would have dreamed it would work. I just say that everything is free. So the printouts for the lessons are free. The lessons are free. This Lego story show is free. Everything is stored on catch up on my website for watching for free. And I just say, pay me if you can. And you are. So it is my job. So if you go to my sign up button, you find it on my website or on Facebook, or if you go to my about section on YouTube, or if you go to the comment section of this video, if you're watching on YouTube, you find this link to this website called Coffee, and you send me £5 a month. And then I send you all my gratitude and I send you some things to say thank you, because clearly this is the best job ever. Look at me. Oh, my days. I don't even want to think about what I would be doing right now if I was a classroom teacher. Probably just crying over a printer. I'm not even joking. So yeah, if you sign up to show my immense gratitude, I will send you a magazine that I write, which is called Theatre of Science Magazine. The inside is more creative. This one's on mould. So if you sign up with £5 a month, you will get an envelope through the post which has some rainbow glasses in it that makes you great rainbows, are just really cool, and an information sheet I wrote about how they work, and this mould issue. So it comes with a home compostable plastic bag. So you build this tray, you put some different foods in, you grow some different moulds, maybe identify them using the magazine, and it's got a comic in it as well. It's got choose your own adventure. It's got loads of information about moulds. I love it. I love the Science Magazine. I love writing a few. I think I'm going to crack on with writing the next one when I finish this. And if you sign up with £6 a month, which a lot of you do, bless you, then you get, at the moment, the Time magazine as well, which comes with a sundial and another beautiful comic and an activity. Einstein's theory of relativity works, and some information about slow worms, because time. Anyway, yeah, so thank you so much for signing up. It's unbelievable that this is my full-time job. This is all I do for a job. It's ridiculous. Too much for you, but it all adds up because I've sort of got infinite audience capacity. I'm not having to worry about paying for Zoom, how many people I can fit on Zoom. So yeah, it's just works out really well. Okay, I am, while I'm talking, going to my Facebook page so that I can say hello to you. Hey, comments, here we go. Hello, Jessica. Rosie Dog has gone to sleep. Too much science for a Rosie dog. Totally fair enough. Totally fair enough. What is that, Thomas? You saw pilot whales. Holy smokes. Lucian's back. Okay, this is all very exciting. Right, come on. Let's click all comments and see what's happening. Jessica, Rosie the dog, hello. Ollie the frog, as he calls himself. And Evie will be watching. Hello. Hello, Evie and Ollie the frog. All right, you two. Nice. Oh, it's Lorcan here as well. Hello, Lorcan. Oh, brilliant. Look at you lot. Salutations, Lucian, son of Kerry Vert. I hope you're feeling better, although you were poorly like an hour ago, weren't you? So you're probably not. That's not how science works. But I hope you're all right. Hope you're tucked up, Lucian, in your little Viking hut. Hope you've got a fire going and someone to tell you stories. Nice big glass of warm mead next to your mattress that's stuffed full of straw and lice eggs and all that. Hope you're looking after yourself. Hello, Amelia. No, your favourite costume? Are you kidding me? Really? Because you've seen a lot of my terrible costumes. That is, wow. I'm very moved by that, actually. You keep breaking up. Oh, you're kidding me. No, 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 do not tell me that I just recorded a very bad connection. Oh, yeah. Oh, are you joking? No, 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 no. Well, it's no good now, is it? Very blooming bad connection. It's no good me working it out now. I'm just going over to try and stab the Wi-Fi, but if it's a bad connection now, it's been a bad connection the whole blooming time. So what's the point? Oh, it does say that I'm connected. It stopped saying bad connection now. I'm really hoping. I've got a big crease in my glabella. I'm really hoping when you say it's all glitchy, you mean like just the last couple of minutes. Oh, how upsetting. Thomas in Tenerife wants to tell us that you went whale spotting on the weekend and saw 8 pilot whales swimming next to our boat. Oh, I'm so jealous. Wow, look at those dorsal fins. Oh, amazing. Okay, I'm just zooming right in. God, that's still incredible. Look at that. Imagine actually seeing that. And I'm sure you saw a lot more as well, didn't you? If that's the photo, I bet what you saw was absolutely amazing. Okay, let's move on because I'm just getting too jealous. Maya and Una. Hello, Maya and Una. All right, you two. And there's Aurelia. Splendid. Hello. Oh, there's Violet. Loving the costume. Thanks, Violet. That's very kind. Alice. I tune in just in time for the Lego story. I will catch up on the rest of the lesson after. Hello, Alice. Good to see you. All right, Albert. Hello. Hello, Jacob. Here is Tyler's toy Trilobite. Oh, what is this, homemade or is that? Wow, that is really similar to my Trilobite. Oh, I guess it makes sense that they would make a toy of the most common Trilobite. Wow, that is really. Oh, is that the same one as my? Oh, I've got an absolutely gorgeous, gifted little egg cell with a little toy sperm going into it, and yours looks like it's got the same. Yeah, it must be the same. That is. Have a look at Tyler's Trilobite. That is really gorgeous. Look at that. So nice. Yeah. Oh, I like it. Thank you. You've got that in the background. It is that one, isn't it? It's got those little bits. It's got the. Yeah. Wow. Oh man. I want to get one now. Now that I understand it, I want to get one. We said in the other oceans lesson, I didn't say in this lesson. Yeah, in fact, that's quite a big thing to miss off, that trilobites are arthropods. So they had an exoskeleton, and when they got bigger, they had to shed their exoskeleton so that they could grow, split off so that it could grow. All right, Violet, we're live. Yes, Malcolm, you're enjoying the lessons. Thank you so much for coming. Good morning, Willow and Darcy. Hello, we were wondering what that is on your earmuff. Yeah, it's fallen off now, but it was my tea strainer to act as like a compound eye. I could have put that on, but oh, it just looks silly, wouldn't it? Also, I didn't know how to stick it on. You're looking normal today. Alice, I am. Good use of the word normal there, yes. Lana and Finley, we think that the Trilobite's trident is used for gardening. Actually, digging does make sense, doesn't it? Yeah, if it was one of the ones that lived right on the bottom of the sea, that would make sense, actually. All your lessons are so much fun. Ah, thank you. Plus, this is one of the funniest costumes. No, really? Next week, we're doing sea lions versus seals, sort of sticking with the oceans theme. So clearly, I've really got to up my game to beat the Trilobite costume. Yeah, what the My teeny tiny little laminate. I was so pleased with that. I haven't been out fossil hunting for ages. It might be time to try and go again. Imogen says hi and thank you for a fab show. Oh, hamburger in the street. I love Lego food. Something about little model food that is just super fun. All right, oh, you're confusing me. What have you done here? Daisy and Daniel and Jake, what have you done? Hello again from Jancy Jansel Dancel. Hello. What are you three? Ophelia having a science day. Nice. Oh, Casper and Iris. Casper and Iris. Yes. Oh, I think I've accidentally rubbed it off. Anyway, it's cool because you're going to tell me. Sebastian, when isopods like wood lice curl up, it's called conglobating. Yes, thank you. And I think you used the same word. You've got a teddy trilobite as well. Sebastian's got a different trilobite teddy. Oh, it's saying very bad connection again. I'm really sorry. I suppose I'm not enjoying it. Bad connection. I just immensely. I might have been looking at Sebastian's toy trilobite and seeing Kai saying hi to me, which is making me feel good. Even though, sorry, this might be absolutely interminable for you and you might not be able to watch. Sebastian, that is so cute. I can't believe, and it's a different kind of trilobite. This is very cool. How many toy trilobites are there? Yeah, look, you've got suture lines on yours, right? And you've got these massive bumpy eyes. That's very good. Okay, I'll keep going, you know, you all disappear out of annoying. If you are the person who's just signed up, like I cannot describe to you the warm and cuddly feelings that I get inside. I mean, it's not just warm, cuddly feelings, is it? Because it's the feeling of like having money to do stuff. So it's just a very, very good feeling, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Oh, Tyler's Toy Trilobite has got a comment. It's giant microbes. Yes, it is the same as mine. Yeah. Hi, Laura. In the mould mag, it tells us to clean the very real mould spore. I keep forgetting the magazine. That's really good of you. Do I tell you to clean? You know, this was written in 2022, wasn't it? And I find I can't consume anything that I do. Clean off the. I had to put this big thing. What have I put? That's why people take class. We have not been class. We have not been class. Come on. No. You're in agreement with me. Okay, I'm going to go. It's YouTube's just shouting at me very bad. Watching, just sharing this wonderful life with me.